Okay, sorry. We had to do a little dance party there because we had sirens going off. So I'm on location filming Self-Loving with Auntie Robin. And today I am in a cemetery with my best friend, Robert Smith. My inner gothy geek girl is going ballistic right now because I have always wanted to do something like this. And the topic that we're doing today is ancestors and spirit guides. And I got to tell you that they are pretty amazing. And if more people could talk to them, I think we could probably solve a few more issues if people did listen. But not everybody has that ability. We all have it within ourselves. But in order to cultivate that as a gift that we can do, we kind of have to go through our human bullshit. And really kind of gets us so we can't necessarily hear ourselves think, or like the spirit realm, if you will. I'm just going to call it the spirit realm, okay? It's a little easier to describe that way. But there are lots of different beliefs of what the afterlife is. But before we get to the afterlife, because that's kind of where our spirit guides and our ancestors hang out, okay, is in the afterlife. This life, you're on your own. And if the elevator tries to break you down, go crazy. My child, go. Sorry, I felt a little Prince coming on. But with spirit guides and ancestors, they're really more in the afterlife, okay? And that really just depends on what your version of the afterlife is. And there's no real right or wrong. Because honestly, I kind of feel like all religions actually do have a point. I do believe that there's a heaven and hell. Not necessarily what people perceive as heaven and hell. Because when I was a kid, I went to church, and our first family trip was like in 5th grade. And we decided that we were going to go to Disney World, to go to Florida to see the big mouse, okay? I was so excited because my entire life, adults have always told me that heaven is a city in the clouds in which your dead relatives kind of go to, and they're all there waiting for you. Yeah. So I thought in 5th grade that, oh my God, I'm going to be able to see heaven in the clouds. I'm going to be able to see that city. I can be able to see some of my relatives. I can be able to see some of my ancestors. And, but when I got up into the plane and we finally cleared the clouds, I had been looking around everywhere. Just like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Am I going to see it? Am I going to see it? And it's just kind of like, nope. No, that didn't happen. I'm just like, y'all lied. You lied to a kid. But then I realize now as an adult, though, there are perceptions of what heaven is. And everybody's perception of heaven and hell is different. Because I don't necessarily believe that hell is a fiery place in which you burn for all damnation. I don't think that that is actually what it is. I honestly think more what hell is in our mind, in the continuing thought loops that we have over and over and over again. And you have them. You do. And also kind of those like repeated patterns that you just do naturally for like, you just don't know why you do it. But you just do. Yeah. I think that is hell. Hell on earth. And hell really in our own brain. Because we actually end up causing a lot more suffering within ourselves. And I'm kind of going through this right now. I'm having to deal with a few issues. And I got to be honest and raw with you. It's a little much. But we can overcome those thought patterns and those loops and be better for it. We really, truly can. But it's going to take losing the victim mentality. It's going to take losing the patterns that you keep repeating, the sense of lack that you feel like you have, either money, job, love, whatever. Also, you got to get rid of how you respond and how you react to things. I know that that one sounds a little weird, but hear me out here. Because reacting is an emotional response. And unfortunately, right now, especially the US government seems to. Whew, that was fun. A little revving up. But the US likes to rev it up a little bit sometimes, and they like to use this tactic a lot of just scaring the ever loving shit out of you. So you're having to deal more emotionally to respond to things than you are reacting to things. No, it's the other way around. Sorry. Reacting is emotional, responding is more stoic. There we go. Sorry, I got that one confused. And it happens. I'm a human being. They want you to be in a reactive state, so you cannot logically think your way out of this. That is seriously and honestly a ploy that they are utilizing on you guys to the extreme, okay? And you have to kind of bring it back. So channel your inner Marcus Aurelius, okay? Because you can do it. I know you can. It's tough. It really is tough. But sometimes we do need to be a little bit more stoic in those moments in order to navigate through this, whatever it is that we're doing right now. But once you get rid of those things, you can actually start hearing your spirit guides and your ancestors. And I took a class. I've always had this gift of being able to talk to my ancestors and spirit guides ever since I was a child. But it kind of presented itself as like imaginary friends is what they always thought it was. But honestly, it's my spirit guides and my ancestors talking to me, guiding me. I was a lonely child. Okay? They were my friends. But at a certain point in my life, it no longer became safe to talk to them. And I kind of had to shut it completely off. And I do absolutely 100% have guilt and shame and regret for doing that. But I also knew that it was for my safety at that time. So I've had to forgive myself for that. And when they say that you have to forgive people for your traumas, actually, you 100% do not have to forgive people for your traumas. But what you do have to forgive is yourself for the time and length that you were in that situation. How long you put up for it, the lack of self-respect that you gave to yourself. These are the things you need to forgive yourself for. It's not the people, it's you. You have to forgive yourself for those traumas and those transgressions, but it does not have to be them. No. Okay? Are you with me? Okay. That's where the real work begins. Once you forgive yourself for those, it frees up so much other room in your brain that you're able to kind of start hearing your ancestors, hearing your spirit guides. So you're listening to your inner voice, or your intuition, some people call it. Now, where in the world do your ancestors live? Okay, that's the question that I'm posing for you right now in this section. And where they live is in the afterlife, or what I like to call the spirit realm. Okay, it's just easier to call it that for at least these points and purposes. But if you really do, there is information out there. And you can research that, like where your spirit guides and ancestors come from. There's lots of different theories, but you're never going to know until you die. But the one thing that I think, one story actually, that I think really gets close to what I feel is what the afterlife is like. And it's completely ridiculous for me to even remotely say it, but it is the Disney movie Soul. Because I really feel like we're just little balls of energy, and then we just kind of reincarnate into our meat suits. But before that, we get to choose our lives. We get to choose what we want to do when we incarnate here back on this earth. We're picking out who our parents are, what experiences we want to feel, what we want to learn, what we're going to have to go through. I mean, we pick all this out before we come, okay? And sometimes we pick a hell of a life, okay? Like, I picked a hell of a life this time, but here I am. I'm still going through it. I'm still learning and growing and developing, because as a human being, that is what we are here to do, is grow and develop and be the best person that we can be. That's all we can do. Ooh. Okay, that was it. All right. Bell disco. But if you believe in those things, that's perfectly fine. You're allowed to believe in that. I'm not here to try and change your mind. This is just from me and what I have experienced. Okay. So I don't care whether you believe in reincarnation, life after death. It's all the same to me. I personally believe that life after death is the Disney movie Soul. In a weird sort of way, it kind of fits, especially with my spirit guides and ancestors. And also, this is more in the spiritual community. Hold on, we got some construction going on. It's got some bass to it. Okay. The bass is left. And then I forgot what I was talking about. Thought change reel. Whoop, whoop. Okay. We're getting back on it now. But honestly, I've had a lot of weird experiences with my ancestors and spirit guides, and the Disney movie Soul is really honestly the closest that has come to kind of explaining it in the best way possible. Okay? Now, in the spiritual community, there is a thought and idea that part of your soul stays in the spirit realm and the other part incarnates. The part that stays there is the one that holds all the memories of everything. Okay? What you're going to do in this life, how you're going to do it, what you're going to do. A lot of times they call it your higher self, your oversoul, your undersoul. I don't care what you call it. Call it whatever you want. Call it just you. That's fine. I like to call it my higher self, because they can see the bigger picture when I am just in the muck of it. I feel like I have blinders on sometimes through life, and I think that you guys do too. It's kind of the way it is. Because they're in the spirit realm, and part of you is also in the spirit realm, you're able to access some of that information. Yes, you can. Now, in order to talk to your spirit guides and ancestors, to be able to hear them, I recommend taking a class. Connecting with your spirit guides and ancestors with Bo is the class that I took. And I really loved it because it helped me connect back to myself, but also got rid of some of the human bullshit. And that is where this has all started for me, was taking that class. Because it reopened me back up. I could all of a sudden hear them again. And all of a sudden now, I've got all sorts of kind of things going on. And I love it. I love it. But that is where your spirit guides and your ancestors are, is in the spirit realm. And they also have a better picture and idea because they can see everything. You're kind of going through this with just yourself and kind of blinders on. And when you have the blinders on, that's your traumas, that's your humanness just kind of getting in the way of your brain, because this is really more felt in your heart, not necessarily logically. None of this is logical. Okay? Absolutely 0% of this is logical. You just have to trust. And I know, I hear you. That is so fucking hard to do. What the fuck, Auntie Robin? Auntie Robin, what are you doing this to me? I'm just trying to help you. Okay? Because sometimes we need clearer answers than just ourselves. And if you can use the higher powers that be to kind of straighten your shit out, and you can call it God, you can call it your higher self, you can call it universe, I don't care. Call it whatever you want. You got it. You can get through this. Now, who are your spirit guides and ancestors? That is a very good question. So, your spirit guides and ancestors are basically a group of souls that you have worked with throughout time. Okay? So, there are certain souls, though, that you have a deeper connection and a deeper bond to because you've had many lifetimes together. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's bad. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're learning lessons with these people. And you kind of have like your core group, okay? Now, when I talk about my spirit guides and ancestors, I'm really talking about my spirit team. Yeah, you go, team. And my spirit guide team is huge, okay? Huge. Sometimes it's a lot in my head. And I kind of have to tone it down a little bit. Just be like, come on, guys, I need a little space. And they do, and they give it to you. If you need it, they'll give it to you. But when you need help, ask for help. That's what they're there for. You may not be able to hear them yet, but I will show you a couple of techniques to at least get some yes or no questions, or maybe even just kind of start giving you some possibilities of learning how to communicate, even though right now you can't listen. But I do recommend take a class if you want to. There's nothing going to be wrong with it if you do. Because we all have this gift. It's just that it's so repressed by our human bullshit that we have to let that go. Your spirit guides and ancestors make up a couple of different things. First off, it's from your bloodline. Okay, so your entire lineage, okay, your blood lineage that you're born into right now, you have access to all of those people. That's one thing. Now, another thing is that you can also access your past lives. If you don't believe in reincarnation, that's fine. Then ignore this part. You're allowed. But if you do believe in reincarnation, you actually have access to all of your past lives before. You may not necessarily understand it. It might be, but you have access to that because you have learned lessons in those times that may apply to now that you can utilize. The other thing that you can do is you can also access, okay, this one's a little out there for some people, okay? But you can actually access archangels, Michael, Raphael, Metatron, you name them. They're there for you if you need them. You can talk to them. You can ask them questions. Hearing them is going to be a little hard. But like I said, start working through your human bullshit and you can start getting there. Okay? The other thing is that you can also kind of talk to, and some people are going to think I'm full of shit on this one, but I've experienced it. So I'm just saying, you can access like other gods and goddesses. Odin, Hecate, Lilith. You want to talk to Adam? Go ahead, talk to Adam. You want to talk to Eve? Go ahead, talk to Eve. You want to talk to Mary Magdalene? Go ahead, talk to Mary Magdalene. You want to talk to Joan of Arc? Talk to Joan of Arc. I mean, you can contact these people, but hearing them, that's going to be on you. But in this next section, I'm going to show you some ways of doing that. Okay? We're coming up to that. So you got to bear with me, because that's really the fun part. This is just me telling you about it and the information so you can kind of get a better understanding of it so you can apply it into your life. Now, the reason why you can access them is because these stories have been passed down from generations to generations to generations. They are actually part of our collective consciousness. That's an out there thought, but because we have created them, us people have created these stories or these mythologies, these beliefs, they are actually kind of real collectively, because it has been passed down generation after generation after generation. Little bell dance party for you, because it was getting a little heavy. Okay? And sometimes you just got to toss that in. Ooh, extra bonus chime. Ooh, 2 extra bonus chimes. Oh, it's 2 o'clock. I thought it was special. But it is because these stories are part of our collective consciousness that we can actually access and talk to them. Just to let you know. So really, you're only limited by your imagination. And it's going to sound completely out there because it is out there. This is nothing based in logic. There is no logical sense to any of this, but it does exist. Because I have been doing this since I was a child. And even right now, I am still working with my spirit guides and my ancestors and my higher self and some dark gods and goddesses and some regular gods and goddesses. And the thing is that it helps me feel better about myself, about the state of the world. It helps me feel like I'm trying to be the best human being that I can honestly fucking be. Because in the end, that's all that we are. Are you being a decent human being? And there's a lot out here right now that kind of says otherwise. And in order to fix some of that, we got to fix some of ourselves. And if this is a way of doing it and it can help you, then by God, by all means, please, with my blessing. Okay. But that is who your spirit guides are. So now I'm going to take a little break and I'm going to be back, and then I'm going to show you a couple different ways that you can talk to your spirit guides and ancestors, but it's going to be kind of limited. It's kind of yes or no questions, so you can't do anything complex or anything like that. But I'll also show you a couple other methods as well. It's a little witchy. It's going to be a little witchy. Okay? But I think you can do it. I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it. You're not going to go to hell. Just consider it divination 101, okay? That's how I look at it. I'm just teaching you your basic divination course. All right? So stay tuned for Divination 101 next. Hey guys, welcome to Divination 101. I got my little witchy crow necklace on today because I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. We're going to do a little witchy stuff today. I hope you're okay with that. If you're not, you don't have to. You don't have to participate. It's perfectly fine. But for those who do want to know how to talk and communicate with your spirit guides and ancestors, I do have a couple ways that you can do it. Now, the first one is using these copper divining rods. I actually got these at Amazon, but you might be able to get them at your local witch store, or someplace online is going to have something like that. Sometimes they'll have like crystals on it. It just kind of depends on what you want. I just like the basics on this kind of stuff. But a couple words to the wise before you get started on doing this. Always, and I do mean always, before you start talking to your ancestors and spirit guides, you need to say this one little thing. I call forth my ancestors and spirit guides of my highest good to answer some questions for me. You always need to phrase it, spirit guides and ancestors of my highest good. Because, well, there are spirits out there who don't really want you for your highest good. So we want to talk to those people, the good people. All right. So make sure you say that before you get started. So I'm going to show you how to use the copper divining rods first, because this is probably the easiest method, and I think the least that you can actually adjust it, shall we say. So what you're going to do is I just kind of stick my hands on these parts here, and I'm just going to say, spirit guides of my highest good, are you with me right now? I'm not moving anything. If you can see this, there's a little spinny part here, and you can kind of... So I'm just hanging on to this, and they're just swinging, okay? And it's not the wind. I know I'm outside. It's not the wind, okay? So I'm currently talking to my spirit guides and ancestors of my highest good, correct? Okay. So that's what a yes looks like. This is a yes. Okay. Can you guys show me what a no looks like? Okay. So that's kind of what a no looks like. So you can basically ask yes or no questions. So you can ask like, am I on the right path for my highest good? Ooh, how exciting for me. Is there anything that I need to be aware of right now that might be detrimental to me? Okay. Are there some positive things coming up for me? Hey, all right, rock out. You know, you can ask questions. It's just like, should I stay with so-and-so? I'm not... I have nobody who I really need to ask this for, but the kind of questions that you can ask are, you know, like, should I stay together with my boyfriend? I don't have a boyfriend, so it's gonna just be... it's just gonna be straight ahead. So, but for you, you know, if that's the question you want to ask, that's a question that you can ask. It's just like, am I in the right position for my career? Is there anything that I need to do to make my career better? Okay. So that's awesome. I'm sorry. It's kind of fun doing this. I mean, but keep asking questions, like follow-up questions. Keep asking. That's the thing. You just have to be curious about it. Okay? But this is one way that you can communicate. And I really do truly love this thing, because I'm constantly like looking for these things throughout my house. I'm just kind of like, wait. I just want to clarify. Did you really just say that? Because I'll ask them. I'm just like, did you guys really just say that? Mm-hmm. They told me to get to it. Looking around. Okay. I'm going to set these down here. The other thing that you can use, and you can get this also at your local witch shop, this is called a pendulum. Okay, they come in different shapes, sizes. Sometimes it's a hollow container and you can put stuff inside of it if you want to. Sometimes you can use just like a crystal. I've used like my necklace. I've used my car keys when I haven't had this or the copper divining rods, and I wanted to ask them a yes or no question. But I'm going to kind of pull this back. Hopefully you can kind of see this. Okay. Maybe, can you see that? Okay. I'm going to bring this a little bit closer, but I'm going to ask the spirit guides of my highest good, can you show me what a yes looks like? Okay, please notice my fingers are just like this. I'm just kind of holding the ball like that. I'm going to come back a little bit. So show me what a yes looks like. So if you notice, it's kind of swinging this way, okay? Can you show me what a no looks like? If you notice, it's kind of going this way now. And this isn't the wind, okay? I am outside, but there is no wind right now, okay? And also, the reason why this one is a little to me is because sometimes my fingers can dictate it. So, I mean, depending on how I'm holding it, but sometimes just holding it from the ball like this will get a better view. Can you kind of see that? So show me a yes. Can you show me what a no looks like? Oop, there we go. Show me a no. Okay. So that is what a yes and a no looks like. Okay? When you're going bird's eye view. But sometimes I like to shorten the leash a little bit and just be like, ancestors of my highest good, what's going on in the spirit realm? They always like that when they laugh about that one. But same thing. What, I don't even know what to ask. I'm so happy and so satisfied. Lies, but we always want more. We always do. So, do I want more? Yes. Yes, I do. Yeah. Yeah, spirit guides and ancestors, I do want more. I think you want more too. I think we all deserve better. Yeah. I said it. Do we all deserve better? Is there anything that we can do to do better? Well, that's a heavy yes. And sometimes, especially with this, you might need to stop it because it is swinging so out of control before starting your next question, essentially, and just ask, you know, then ask your next question. It's something that you can do. Okay? Now, the other thing that you can do, this one is similar to like the tarot deck, if you're familiar with that. I generally don't like doing tarot for asking questions. I like doing tarot's really for me more of an energy reading of what's kind of going on in the situation. But you can also kind of use runes. I'm sure you've seen this in like old movies and stuff like that. You know, there's always a wizard and a sorcerer. They have their little bag of rocks. And these are what runes look like. Okay? They're little stones, and they generally have something etched into it, a design or a pattern. I'm not necessarily holding these up probably the right way, but I just wanted to show you a few of these. They can be made of stone, any kind of stone. These are made of carnelian, and you can kind of see the designs in there and kind of what they look like. And it's really kind of fun to kind of do. So basically, you take your rocks, you stick them in your magic bag of holding, okay? Now, when I'm doing runes, I like to do kind of a map setup. And I am going to show you the map that I drew, because you can draw your own. You can make, you don't have to buy anything for these, except for, like, even the stones, you can make your own. Like, look up the symbols and put, you know, carve some wood chunks, put the symbols on it, throw it in your bag of holding, and there you go. You're set and ready, okay? So, this is kind of a little chart that I made. Don't think you can really see it. I'm gonna see if I can scan this into and I'll take a picture of it and show you guys. I thought that you could read it. You're not gonna be able to. So I'll put it to the side here, or I might do something fancy on Canva later. But essentially, it's kind of divided up into different sections. See, I've got the past, present, and future. It's kind of divided north, south, east, and west, and then there's like little circular parts that kind of go onto the outside, and there's different planes of asking, okay? Like, this is the plane of receiving right here. This is the plane of decisions, okay? This is the plane of giving, and this is the plane of holding, okay? And then inside of each one of them is kind of like friends, birth, beginnings. We have home and family. We have challenges. We have thoughts and mind, what is happening there. Other influences that are happening. Passions, love, pleasure, changes, routines, death and endings. We have unexpected, self-expression, inner world, goals, experiences, past memories, achievements, travel, money, career, hidden or your subconscious, lessons, spirituality. And you can make this up any way you want. If you want to do like a grid, you can do a grid. There's lots of different ways of doing this. But what you're essentially doing is you stick this on your table. I'm going to stick this on my floor here. Okay. And I also have my book that describes everything and how to do stuff. Pick one of those up or look it up online what the symbols mean. It's perfectly legit because I have done both. Yes, I'm sitting on the ground. Okay, so I've got my big bag and it is full of stones, okay? So I'm just going to shake these up. It's going to get a little loud. Now, you do not have to grab all of these. You just have to grab some, okay? Mix it up if you want to. Get your hands in there. And I always like to do, like, you know, a good handful, you know, like this. And then I just kind of shake it up and Yahtzee. And that is how you do a rune. Yeah, you're basically just playing Yahtzee. So this guy right here in the future and in the place of giving, okay, is humanity, culture, society, and awareness. So I'm clearly doing some big things for humanity in the future. So watch out, world. I'm doing some shit. All right. But this one right here is kind of in between. It's between friends and also future. Okay? It's kind of half and half. So that means disruption, transformation, uncontrolled forces, and change. Okay, we can accept that. And then this guy, the double X, is on pleasure and also on the future. That is creation, harmony, evolution, and energy. Okay. And then we've got this guy here, which is awakening, transformation, blind point, and breakthrough. So that's in the money and career section. And then we've got this guy here in our journey and travel area. And what are we journeying and traveling towards? That is what we would like to know. Well, it says travel. That's what that one means. So I guess I'm traveling at some point in time here. We are trusting loyalty and travel and teamwork. Yes. Okay. This is in the place of giving. And then this guy here is kind of out on its own. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, ancestors, inheritance, heritage, and home is a place of giving. Now, we also have some 3 outliers here. We have this guy. I'm just going to call it Chickenfoot. But Chickenfoot here is kind of in the place of decision, and it's kind of right in the center here. So, of unexpected and achievement is kind of what we're going to say. And that is courage, protect, independence, and defense. So I must be a little defensive in my decisions. And then changes in the area of receiving, disruptions, transformations, unforeseen forces, and change. Well, it's in changes, so changes are coming. And then we've got this guy here, which is in our holding section. And he kind of looks like a number 1 in our thoughts and our minds. That's kind of funny. It is stability, focus, psychological beliefs, and stasis. Okay. So that's how you do a rune reading. Welcome to the Magic Garden. But as you can see, guys, this can actually be fun to do. But you have to go through your human bullshit. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. There's no other way. You got to go through it. But it does really help kind of bring you some clarity, some answers. And if that's what you need, then that's what you need. Do it because you can. Now, I do not have a topic for our next session. I'm still working on that, but it will show up eventually. Ooh, sorry, there's some pretty birds around today in the garden, so I'm gonna go enjoy the garden now. But for right now, you guys, I'm gonna let you go. And these are just things to get you closer to getting some answers from your guides and stuff like that. I know it seems really simplistic because it is. But everybody has to start somewhere. So this was your beginning divination 101. And like I said, there's other people out here who teach like far more involved classes, and you can pay them for that. But I'm just going to show you some basic stuff and how to do it. All right, you guys. Your auntie loves you, and I wish you nothing but the best. Bye.